Chris, tell us about COYS of Kensington.
Well, we're a specialist auctioneering company that's been going for about 90 odd years now, and we deal in a very high-end, very special, exclusive marketplace, which is obviously why we come to the Autosport Show every year. We bring a lot of these cars. These cars have come from all over Europe, some of them from all over the world, to this venue, to this event, because this is one of the most important motorsports events in the world. And so we get the clients, we get a lot of motorsport interest, a lot of motorsport enthusiasts, and a lot of wealthy guys who come to the show and hopefully buy the cars that we're offering to sell.
How many cars have you brought with you?
We've got just under 60 cars here, of which we've sold probably 45 of those cars, which is a very good, very great result for us.
Brilliant.
Fantastic. In fact, Autosport for us, Autosport 2011, I think it's probably been the most successful year that we've ever done the show, and we've been here for the last 9 years.
Oh, that's wonderful news.
Yeah.
What car has had the most interest?
Well, we've had a lot of really interesting and unusual stuff. Obviously, the Colin McRae Focus. There's a huge number of Colin McRae fans. He's a world rally icon.
Yeah.
Obviously passed away. Has great legendary status. Obviously, that's a car that's got a lot of interest. We sold that car for about £110,000 on Saturday night. The XJ220 next to it, obviously another legendary British iconic car. Again, another sold car, £128,000.
Wow, wow. Okay, can we have a little closer look at these cars?
Sure. I mean, this obviously is an original Colin McRae Focus. There's no questions about the car. It's got a great Colin McRae racing history, an awful lot of successes behind the wheel of this car. The 220, it's only done 4,000 kilometres from new. That's very unusual and a very, very special car to have in an auction here at the Autosport Show. Another interesting car that's very rarely seen, not only in auctions in the UK, but pretty much anywhere in the world, is this Bizzarini here. This is a Bizzarini, what they call a 5300. It was designed by a guy called Giotto Bizzarini, who was one of the most important successful designers that Ferrari ever had. He designed the 250 GTO, and then he went out on his own. He designed these and built these cars. A very rare number. We sold this car on Saturday, £245,000. We had bidding on the car from all over the world. Eventually went to America.
Well, that is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, that is amazing. This specimen.
This is a Piper. This is a 1969 Piper GT Le Mans car. This car ran in the 1969 Le Mans. As you can see, it's just about as low as you could possibly go. The laws of physics dictate this is going to be a very fast car, and it is, and it was. Again, this car we sold on Saturday night. It made just under £70,000, and it's going to Greece.
Yeah.
Yeah, all over the world. We got cars sold here on Saturday in the Autosport Show in Birmingham that are going literally all over the planet.
You've got no speed bumps in Greece?
No speed bumps in Greece. Obviously not.
Ferrari Daytona?
Ferrari Daytona, very special car, very highly sought after. One of the great front-engine Ferraris. Again, this car sold £165,000. That's bought by an English guy.
Okay.
March Formula One car, March Formula One car, again driven by Derek Daly. It's a genuine, proper Cosworth DFE powered Formula One car. This is an extremely competitive, extremely successful car in historic Formula One, which is obviously a really, really popular racing series. Again, this was sold for £140,000. Again, staying here in the UK.
So that's a bit of a bargain, that.
Well,
145 grand for
a Formula One car. Yeah, but I think one of the things is it probably costs you that much a year to run it. So.
Yeah, but still, I mean, that's
you can pay
good.
up to for a Williams or something a little bit more, perhaps well known, more of an established manufacturer, up to £400,000 or £500,000. So this is a really good buy for someone. It's a really competitive car, and they're going to have some real fun with that car in the 2011 historic Formula One season. Another really interesting car is the Group A Integrale. This is an original factory Integrale with the original factory Martini sponsorship, and again, one of these has not been seen ever in a major international auction like the one we have here at Autosport. And obviously as a result of that, we had a huge amount of interest in this all over the world. £135,000 that sold for. That's going to be worth £500,000 in 5 years' time. Yeah. Sure as I stand here in front of you now.
Yeah, yeah. What such an amazing pedigree, isn't it?
Well, the Integrale was one of the great cars of the early 1990s. This is a proper factory rally car, which is where the cars became so important and really where they earned all their spurs.
And you've got all the documented history.
It's fully documented. It's still got its Italian factory number plates on it. Ex-Kensington car. It's the real deal.
Where's that going?
That's staying here in the UK as well.
Wow. Best of British.
Yeah, this thing here, there's, you know, RS200, another
Now, the RS200. That, didn't they stop making that because it was... when it cleaned a few
well, basically, this was a group.
Dangerous,
this was a Group B rally car. It was designed and built for Group B racing. Group B obviously got cancelled because the speeds were getting unbelievable.
Yeah.
And there were a few bad accidents.
Yeah.
Truth be told.
Yeah.
So obviously, Ford went into production. They converted the cars to road use. This is an original, what they call a RS200 Evo. So it's got the very high brake horsepower engine, the very trick suspension, the very trick gearbox. Again, none of these hasn't been seen in an auction in the last 10 years. 126,000 pounds is going to Spain.
Wow.
So
that's impressive.
It's an interesting thing.
Expected, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's no surprises there. We knew from day one when we actually captured one of these to put into an auction, we knew the interest would be huge, and we knew it would get a very, very strong price.
Yeah.
We had about 7 or 8 bidders fighting to buy this car, and so eventually the guy from Spain won the day. This is a 1975 Group 4 Pantera. This is an original Le Mans car. This car ran in Le Mans, it ran in the Targa Florio, it ran in the Giro de Sicily, it ran in all the great events in Italy in period. As you can see, it's beautifully original, all the old sponsor logos slowly fading away. This is what collectors really like to see, they really like to buy.
Yeah.
A totally genuine, proper, original car. And again, you know, these are sort of new to the market. You know, cars from the early 1970s now in historic motorsport are becoming really, really, really popular. You can run this car in the classic Le Mans race that they hold at Le Mans every year. A fantastic car, £225,000, selling to an Englishman.
Nice. What else have we got, Chris?
Well, we've got a really broad selection. Obviously, you can see we've got everything here from a 1950s MGA to a 1970s Aston Martin. I mean, that's, again, a car that you can run in historic Le Mans with. The MGA, again, a British icon. You can do all kinds of things with that. There's loads of events, Goodwood. You know, we had all sorts of stuff selling here. The Alpha GTA, the white car there. Again, that sold for £50,000 to an English guy. And interesting, we got some new stuff that's new to the market, like the 2 Ford Sierra RS500 Cosworths. Again, you know, just starting to become really, really collectible, really interesting cars.
Cosworth is going up in value very well,
rocketing up in value.
You know, 25, 30
well, I mean, these cars both made in the sort of early 30s range, but I mean, you know, it won't be long before they're £50,000 because only a few years ago they were £10,000. But the trick is finding a good one, because you know, when the cars, you know, got a little bit older, you know, in the early 1990s, people took the engines out of them, they modified them, they changed them, and these two cars we got here were really, really pure original cars with their original engines and really good histories. One of them has only got 36,000 miles on it from new. Really, really tough car to find.
That's where the value is. If you start mucking about with a car, modding it, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the temptation is obviously when these cars get a little bit cheaper to modify them and you know, maybe make them faster, change them from the factory specification. If you can keep the temptation away and keep them as the factory build them, that's always going to be the best investment.
Most definitely, most definitely. What else can we look at? To be honest, I see the yellow 355 in Giallo yellow.
Yeah.
But 355 Spider, it's there.
Well, I mean, again, I mean that's you look at the value of that car. £35,000 that car was sold for. You know, that was way over £100,000 when it was new.
Yep.
They're built well. Ferraris are built. They're built like Porsches now. Their quality control is as good as a Porsche. I mean, you could drive that car every single day, and who wouldn't want to do that?
Well, yeah, it's iconic. It's one of the most beautiful Ferraris ever made.
One of the most successful cars.
Future values. What do you think the future values on a 355 Spider would be?
Well, I mean, the bottom line answer to that one is it's an old Ferrari. There's only one way the value's going to go, and that's up. We've seen that 355s now have already reached their lowest value, and every one that we see that comes up now that's a good quality car with history and good mileage is making a little bit more and a little bit more. I mean, this is going to be a £100,000 car in 5 years' time.
Yeah. Do you really?
I really think so.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, this was one of the last of that platform of Ferraris that was the evolution out of the early 308s. And so it built and built and built and built. And obviously the cars that they're building now are even, you know, a more supercar. They're more expensive to run. These slightly older cars that have that Ferrari pedigree, but that are much more usable on a daily basis, have got a very, very, very positive investment potential ahead of them.
Well, you know, like the 360, 430, you could use that every day.
Yeah, nice again, but they're getting a little bit more complicated and a little bit more expensive to run. This you can still use and still run. You know, it's still going to be something that you could run, you know, on an enthusiast budget and still keep on the road.
Apart from a cam belt. It's an
Well,
engine out on that.
Well,
it's about £5 isn't it?
It's a Ferrari. What do you expect?
Yeah, that's right. What do you expect? Chris, the cameraman's got a Ferrari 348.
Yeah.
You're obviously an expert in all cars. How do you feel about the 348? Maybe the prices. What do you think?
I think the 348 is one of the most underrated cars the factory's built in the modern era. I think the 348 retains that fantastic Pininfarina styling of the early 1990s. It was also typified in the Testarossa. It's got an awful lot of potential, an awful lot of style. I know that it kind of was overshadowed by the 355, which came out with fantastic success and applause, and it followed up on the 328, which was also considered to be, one of the grandfathers of the classic 8-cylinder Ferraris. But certainly to my mind, I think a 348 represents tremendous value for money. It's every bit as interesting and drivable a car as a 328, and if from a 355 point of view, some people might prefer the slightly earlier styling. I think the 348s have got it all to play for. This is a 456 GT. This actually is quite a famous car. It belonged to Pete Townsend, who was the guitarist in the rock and roll band The Who.
Yeah.
It was his car. And one of the reasons why it's a little bit interesting and unusual is because it's actually hard to see under the lights, but it's actually a dark metallic green with a beige leather interior, and that's a very unusual colour combination for a Ferrari for a 456.
I've only seen one out and about.
Well, this is
dark green with beige.
It might have been this car, but they. But yeah, so that's one of the reasons why, again, it's an interesting. It's also got 12 grand's worth of fitted luggage in the boot. Ferrari, handmade calfskin leather luggage. Costs you 12 grand. You want to replace it. So,
but would you want to take that to Heathrow and put it on an EasyJet flight?
I'm pretty sure that luggage sits in the boot, and when it doesn't in the car, it's just in the garage.
Yeah, I know.
This is an interesting car that we sold. This is Jensen Buttons BMW M5.
Okay, he's still got. He's left his number plate on there.
He's left his number plate on there. JB05BAR. It's still Jensen. Well, we sold the car, but it was Jensen. Jensen brought the car up here on Tuesday. Yeah, he left his CDs, his post, and his lunch in it. So we haven't returned those items to him yet. But yeah, really interesting car. The fact it belongs to a former Formula One world champion. It's being sold directly from his garage. Yeah, a lot of interest in this. A lot of people. We sold this for about £30,000, which is quite a strong premium on what you'd expect to pay for this car. Let's say on one of the websites on Auto Trader, you wouldn't be paying anything like that for a 2005 M5. But for Jensen's car, with the number plate, with the history, it made it all day long.
Did he sell his Veyron?
I think he's still got that.
Oh, okay.
I think he's still got that, but certainly he sold his M5 and we sold it for him here last night.
Is there any cars here that you haven't sold and you're looking to get rid of? Maybe, we can help you?
Well, again, to be honest, looking around the room, there's not too many. There's the Aston Martin convertible over there.
That's nice. You didn't sell that? Let's have a look at that.
We didn't find a home for that. But we sold the Elva, we sold the Capri. These are making big money now.
Yeah.
These are making big money now. We sold the Escort Mexico. We sold the little Porsche. That was a cheap car, no reserve, £7,000.
Really?
What a deal!
That seven grand for this Porsche.
What a deal!
What's that? 1972? Is that?
Yeah, it's an early Targa.
1972 Targa.
Yeah. So again, they're fantastically reliable, great cars to use and drive, great car to be seen in. It's got the tombstone seats with the classic Porsche check trim.
I really like that.
It's a fantastic
That's really nice.
thing. And this Aston Martin, unfortunately, we didn't find a home for.
Okay, let's have a look.
But,
so it's an L-Reg. What's that? 93, 94. Yeah.
It's a Virage Volante.
Right.
Which is and it's a bit of a weapon. Just look at it. Look at the wheels. Look at the body kit on the car. The rear spoiler. This is a seriously fast bit of kit.
It looks in really good condition.
It's a very nice car.
Green with the burgundy piping.
Yeah, with the burgundy piping and the red paintwork. It's a really nice example. Just didn't find the right guy in the night. That happens.
What's the reserve on it?
You're probably looking for about £40,000 for this car. So if somebody out there wants a great-looking Aston, I don't think it's too expensive.
Exactly, especially for the summer.
Summer's coming.
Indeed. Well, Chris, thank you ever so much for showing around.
You're very welcome, no problem at all.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'm sure the cameraman's going to put a bid in for something anyway.
I do hope so. Thanks very much.
Thank you.